We might as well. Richard, just come in here for a sec. Yeah. I love the text that we get. And that's with me and you, and it's like, this is your generation's fault, Ty. Yeah. And it's something that it's like, 100%. Like, it is my fault, isn't it, Richard?
Bunch of entitled brats.
Say that again, because you brought me on, and I kind of got cut off.
Oh, just saying that, like, anytime anything bad happens, that it's my generation's fault. We were just joking about the group text that you, Tom, and myself are in from time to time, where you just poke fun at us a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but, at the same time, I also blame parents. Parents are really the main problem. They raise their kids a certain way, and I was raised with a lot of tough love. I don't know if, and this is not pertaining to all parents, but quite a few parents that they try to shield kids from everyday life and disappointments and stuff like that, and I don't think that's good. You have to let them bump their heads a few times and learn the process of going through life with the ups and downs.
So should Myles Garrett have requested the trade?
I think that's his right. I just saw a headline. I really didn't read anything about it. Did he ask for anything just kind of crazy or anything like that?
No, like I said, it was kind of a well thought out, not response, but post that, hey, he has a goal of winning a Super Bowl. Doesn't feel like it could happen in Cleveland. He's gotten the individual accolades, and so I feel for him there, but other places I don't feel like it's necessarily that righteous case, where I feel like that's a righteous case on his behalf. I don't feel that about some other trades that have been asked for over the years.
Yeah, Ty entered the radio portal, and he has not cleared waivers yet. No one's picked him up off the waiver wire, so.
Yeah, and it won't happen.
It's a treacherous world. Yeah. It's a treacherous world out there.
Yeah, there was a station in Stuttgart that offered to send us 2 ag reporters for one Ty, but,
That's too much. Tommy knocked down the trade.
I don't know.
I'll tell you what, speaking of trades.
Throwing a John Deere 80 horse, maybe we're talking.
I want to know the negotiating power. I've got to take whatever Rob Pelinka did, who's the GM of the Los Angeles Lakers, and how he just sandbagged Nico Harrison. That's one of the worst trade destructions I've ever seen, where one side won everything, the other side didn't win jack. But my gosh, negotiating power there and there. RD with us, Richard Davenport, Whole Hog Sports, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, every single Wednesday. Richard, before we talk recruiting, what's your feel on this game tonight? Arkansas is a 7-point dog heading into Austin. Texas has won 3 of 4. Not going to be an easy matchup, but any chance they could pull out some of the stuff from Saturday into the Moody Center tonight?
Well, sure, there was a chance, but at least if you look at their body of work this year, they usually don't put back-to-back good games together. Maybe this would be one of them. And obviously, it's highly doubtful that they'll shoot anything like they did against Kentucky again this year. They're pretty limited offensively for whatever reason. The stroke was good against Kentucky, and obviously needed to be able to beat them. But until they show a little bit more consistency offensively, it's going to be hard to really think that they're going to go into a hostile environment and pull out a win. But obviously they showed that against Kentucky. So you if you're an Arkansas fan, you definitely hoping and praying that they have back-to-back performances like that.
Yeah. So you cover the recruiting beat. Any bump, any text traffic, any noise you're hearing off the win on Saturday from that more high-profile recruits, or did it even move the needle?
I'm sure it kind of helped, but I don't know if it definitely moved the needle or anything. I think the main thing is just consistency, and this team hasn't been consistent. I just tend to think that, if they go on a run, I think that helps a little bit. But I think the main thing with Coach Cal, guys know that he's going to win. Whether or not this is going to be the season that Arkansas fans, obviously wish for, as far as going to the NCAA tournament and making a run, it doesn't seem likely, but you just never know. It's possible. But I just tend to think that people, parents and kids, look at his track record and know, well, this is just kind of a bump in the road. it probably won't happen again, and I'd be surprised if it does happen again. So I think you look at the track record of people and really determine, their worth, and his worth is obviously a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah. Rich, we hadn't talked to you since last week when, some news came out from the university and Hunter Yurachek and the foundation about new levels of donating and giving that are available and requirements as they reseat Bud Walton Arena. What was your reaction to the information they gave to fans and season ticket holders? And what was your takeaways from that, from someone that's observed Razorback basketball for 40-plus years?
I understand the reasoning. I really do. I mean, you got to come up with approximately $21 million to after this judgment is ruled, which everything points that the revenue sharing will go into effect, and schools will have to come up with that type of money. So people say, well, the timing of it with the season going the way it is. Well, something like this is probably a year or two in the works, and especially when you know that you have that $21 million that you got to come up with. So it really wasn't a great time, any time to make a decision to put something out like that out. But you have to come up with the money, and I didn't read in depth about it, but my biggest concern is just the middle class. The middle class is being priced out of professional sports and I think even college sports, and that's the part that I really hate. It's becoming more corporate, and I'm free market. I'm a free market guy to the extreme, but at the same time, sometimes there needs to be a little bit of a correction. But I'm not so sure there's going to be a correction.
Yeah, and it's kind of like flying on an airplane. There's first class, there's business class, and then there's where me and you sit back in coach. And there's only going to be around 3,500 season ticket holders. I know there's 17,000 or 19,000 seats. There's about 15,000 available. But talking with Ryan White with the foundation last week, there's about 3,500 or so Arkansans or fans that will be able to buy the tickets. Is kind of the number. So, I don't know what's the bottom end of that going to look like. Is it going to be $5,000 in giving? Is it going to be closer to 10, or will people that can only give 2,500 be able to even get in the building? That I think it's going to be interesting to see what the marketplace and the demand is, and these last 10 games are going to go a long ways into determining people's appetites for those pricey seats next year.
Just a little bit that I've read, it does seem like that the donation levels seem to be on the lower end of the SEC. I could be wrong. Just a little bit that I've read. And
they're certainly not at the top. So
no. But at the same time, $2,500 for a family of four, middle class family,
plus the tickets.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, man, for entertainment. And so it's going to price out some people, and some other people that can afford it will take up that slack. But again, it's getting more and more expensive, and I just worry about the impact on the everyday fan that is working extra hard to try to afford those tickets and that donation, but they finally have enough and say, well, we can't do it, and you just have to try to find tickets here or there once in a while instead of having season tickets.
Who always pays? It's the consumer. This is just another reminder. Bird flu. Who's paying more for eggs? You, the consumer, right now. The distributions from the SEC go up. Who pays more for their Hulu or YouTube TV or their Cox Cable or whatever? You do. And I don't know why we ever thought the money was going to arrive from anyone other than we, the fans. And once again, we, the fans, are going to foot the bill or we're not.
I got to compromise. So the Mavericks are giving season ticket refunds because of the Luka thing. If Arkansas doesn't make the NCAA tournament, Richard, they should reward their season ticket holders with a refund.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say
is that not going to happen?
No,
I tried.
I mean, that's just a wild guess.
I tried. I do my best. I try from time to time. Richard, I want to shift gears with you. We're talking with Richard Davenport, Whole Hog Sports, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. I haven't fully dove into the story, spent an hour or two looking at every detail involving former Razorback cornerback Greg Brooks. But just some of the stuff I've seen is bad. I mean, I saw him in that ABC interview with Michael Strahan. For those that don't know, Greg Brooks and his family have an ongoing lawsuit against LSU right now for what they believed is a botched brain surgery with a tumor that he had to remove. And I believe I have all that info and everything right. Richard, you got to know Greg when he was recruited initially and then at Arkansas a little bit. What have you made that's gone on currently? And they seem that family seems to be really ticked at Brian Kelly right now for not reaching out during this entire process.
Yeah, I mean, when you see the interview, man, that's tough to watch. It really is, to see a young man who obviously was very athletic and great shape and seemed to have a lot of good things going for him, and then he has trouble communicating. I guess he can't walk. You hope the biggest thing right now is you just hope that he can continue to rehab and somehow function the best that he possibly can to have the best close to normal life possible, and that's the biggest thing. But I mean, in talking to Greg back during the recruiting process, I mean, he was a Mississippi State commitment at the time when Arkansas flipped him.
Mm-hmm.
He made an official visit to Arkansas back when he was in high school in November of his senior year, and that pretty much sealed the deal there. But and with Kelly, I just wonder if the LSU attorneys are saying you cannot reach out. You may say something that
okay.
I could be wrong, and I'm not defending that totally, because that's tough to think that the head coach hasn't reached out to you. But at the same time, when your boss, I mean, I'm just speculating, but it makes sense. When you have a lawsuit going forward, you don't want to say anything that damages your case. So I try to look at both sides, but at the same time, man, I just, from a human perspective, it's hard to believe that there hasn't been any communication in some way, at least a card, or I don't know. That's the thing that I think could potentially hurt them in recruiting, because moms are going to look at that, dads are going to look at that, regardless if the LSU attorneys have told him not to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a bad look.
Yeah, no, I agree. And when you mentioned the Mississippi State, the initial commitment, funny enough, that second game of the season, Arkansas beat Mississippi State. He took one back to the house from KJ Costello. So it's funny how things kind of work in that way. Richard, we'll leave it there, man. Appreciate you joining us this morning, and hopefully we'll get some better updates in the future on Greg when it comes to this process.
All right, guys. Always enjoy being with you, and I appreciate you.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football to NBA, college basketball to NHL and UFC, BetOnline is your number one sports betting source for the new year. From every touchdown to three-pointer and hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.